So hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial video, we are going to create a birthday reminder with the help of React. So here's the live example on my browser screen which you can see up here. This is the birthday reminder project that we are going to create today. We can see we are having a heading, we are having the user's image, user's name, user when the user was born, and we can see at the down below after our data we are having a button that is being displayed as clear all. When the user clicks on the clear all button, the old data will be cleared. That means the old data will be deleted. As you can see, when I just click on the button, all data are deleted. Now when I just refresh my page, the data will be back. When I click on it back, it's going to be deleted. So this is the project that we are going to create in our today's tutorial video. If till now you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. So without wasting the time, let's start creating our birthday reminder. So here's my project that I'm going to create today. So I'm going to open my VS Code editor. As you can see, my project is successfully running. All of the dependency that I need for running my project is already installed. It's going to save our time in our video. Now I'm just going to close my terminal because I don't need it. Alright, so this is our source folder in which I'm having all of the files that is being displayed in our browser as edit source app.js and save to reload the page. So now it is saying me to edit inside my source folder. There's an app.js file. I need to edit that and our page will be changed. So for that, I'm going to come to my VS Code editor up here in my app.js. I'm going to select it and I'm going to remove the paragraph which is given up here, and I'm going to change it to birthday reminder. Alright, now let me save it and let me come back to the browser up here. And now as you can see up here, the paragraph is changed to birthday reminder. This was just a basic review on React app. So now let's start working on our project. So for working on our project, I'm going to delete all of the files that are included in our source folder. So for deleting it together, I'm going to press ctrl and I'm going to select all of the files given up here. I'm going to select and I'm going to press the delete button on my keyboard to delete all of these files, and I'm going to move it to the recycle bin. Alright, so now when I come to my browser, as you can see, I'm getting an error that is being displayed up here that is saying failed to compile the code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my browser screen at the right hand side and my VS Code editor on left hand side. So it will be really easy to see what is going live. Alright, so I'm just going to make it a bit smaller. And now what I'm going to do is inside my source file, I'm going to create a new file that is going to be named as index.css, in which we are going to be having all of our CSS code that is used in our birthday reminder. So what I'm going to do is, other than styling it, I'm going to come to my Sublime text editor in which I'm having already the code that I have styled in our birthday reminder project. I'm going to select it, copy and paste it inside my CSS file. That's it. Now let's save it. So now I don't need my index.css file to be opened. I can close it out. Now I'm going to create a new file that is going to be index.js. So let me create that file up here. So inside my index.js, I'm going to be importing my React project from the React. So import React from inside the single quotes. I'm going to provide up here React. And after that, I'm going to be importing the React DOM. Why we are going to import our React DOM? We are going to import our React DOM so our component that is going to be our main app.js file, we can render it in our root ID, which is there inside our public folder, and we are having the HTML file. I will show you. Let me come back to my JS file up here and import the React DOM. React-DOM, and now I'm going to end it with a semicolon. Now I need to add my CSS file also up here. So for importing my CSS file, I will be using the import single quotes concatenate operator / and my file name, that is index.css. Alright, that's cool. So now I'm going to be using the React DOM.render Inside this render, I will be using the react.strict mode up here. Alright, inside this react.strict mode, I'm going to import my component. But before that, we need to render this component in our HTML ID so we can display it in our front end. So when I come to my HTML file up here, when we scroll down in our body section, we can see up here we are having a div, in which div we are having an ID of a root. We are just going to include our app component in this div. So for doing that, I will be coming up here and I will be using the document dot get element by ID, and in this I'm going to be having the double quotes and I will be providing the ID that is provided to my div, that is my root. Alright, so now if I need to display anything inside my div which is having the ID of a root, I need to render that component in my react.strict mode. So how will I do that? I need to create a component that means I need to create a JavaScript file up here. So for creating that, I'm going to come inside my source folder, right click, create a new file, and I'm going to name it as app.js. Inside my app.js file, I will be importing my React. Alright, comma, because I will be using my use state hook in this project, so I will be importing my use state also from React. Now let me create a function up here that is going to be our app function, and inside this app function, if we are creating any kind of a function, it should return something. So I'll be having a return up here that will be returning a h1 tag that will be saying hello world. Now I need to export this app.js file so we can import it in our index.js. So for exporting it, I will be using export as a default file and I will be adding my function name, that is app. Now I can just import my app.js file in my index.js file with any kind of a name because it is exported as a default. So when I come to my index.js file, and I can access it up here by using the command import app from single quotes concatenate operator / and your file name, that is app. Now if I need to display it in our div which is having the ID of a root, inside my strict mode I will be having less than sign my file name, that is app. I'm going to be having a / and the greater than sign. Now when I save it, now it should display me hello world in our browser screen. So now when I reload the page, it should display me hello world and it is being displayed up here. That's cool. That is really amazing. Now let's start working with our project. So our index.js, in which we are importing our app.js file, is finished. Now we can just close our index.js file because we no need to work with it more. So now we are going to be having the data like the user's image, user's name, when the user was born. So for creating that data, I'm going to create a new file inside my source folder that will be named as data.js. Inside this data.js, I will be having I will say them to export it as default so we can access it with any kind of a name we like. And inside this array, we are creating an array in which we're going to be having an object. In that object, we are having a unique ID for every single list item. So the first item is having the ID number 1. We are having a name that is Bertie Yates. Alright, then we are having the age of the people, that is going to be 25, and we are going to be having the user's image. So we can just select the URL that I'm having up here. I'm going to select that. So for selecting it, I'm going to open my Google up here, select the URL and copy. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create image up here and paste the URL in it. So now we are having a unique key to the value of it. The ID is 1, the name is the user's name, the age of the user is 25, and the user image key is having the user's image URL. So same thing I'm going to be doing with our 3 list items. We are having an object in which we are having all of the users detailed store in it. I'm going to add a comma up here, and after that we're going to be having all of these 2 more list items up here. That looks really cool and unique. Now our data.js work is also finished, so no need to do anything up here. So now what we are going to do is we are going to come inside our app.js file in which we are going to display our heading and we are going to display our clear all button. So for doing that, inside this return, I'm going to remove this h1 tag because we don't need it anymore. Okay, inside this return, I'm going to create a main tag. Inside this main tag, we are going to be having a section which is going to be having a class name for styling it. That is going to be a container. Mostly in HTML, if you have seen, for adding a class, we will be using only class. But if you're using the HTML in JavaScript, you need to add class name. Alright, so we are going to be having this section. Inside this section, the first thing that we are going to display is our h3 tag, in which we are going to display our heading that is going to be displaying birthday reminder, or we can say birthday today. And now when I save it, it should display me birthday today in our container. That's cool. Now what we are going to do is we are going to create a button which is going to be displayed as clear all. So let me create a button up here which is not going to be having any kind of a class, but we are going to display a text that is going to be clear all. Now when I save it, we are having a clear all button. That's really cool and amazing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file up here that is going to be list.js file. Inside this file, I'm going to be importing my React. So let's import React from React. And after that, I'm going to create a component up here that will be named as list with the help of a fat arrow function. And if we are creating any component, or it's there, any component is there, it should return something. So we'll be having a return up here. And we are going to export it as default so we can access it in our app.js file. And we are going to provide the name of our component, that is list. Now inside this return, what we are going to do up here is that we are going to be using the react.fragment up here, or you can directly use the less than and the greater than sign, but it's better if we're using the react.fragment up here. Alright, so now we have created a react.fragment in it. Now we can just save it. Now we can come to our app.js file. Inside this app.js file, we are having all of our users data in our data.js file, in which we are having an array of an object. We can import it up here. Import data from data. Alright, that's cool. And I can just name it as small data. Now what I'm going to do is, before my return, I'm going to create a use state hook. So for creating it, I will be having a constant, a square brackets, and I'm going to name it as people. And we're going to be having second argument that is going to take set people, that equals to, we'll be using our use state hook, and we are going to store our data, that is in which we are having all of our users data, or we can say the people's data up here, and we are importing it with the name of a data. So I'm going to select it up here inside my use state hook, and it is stored inside my people variable. That's cool. Now let me save it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my list.js file up here, and up here I'll be having a curly braces, and I'm going to say them to select my people. I'm going to say them to select my people, and I will be using the people.map function up here. People.map function up here. Alright, because it is an object and I need to display the user's ID, name, image in a proper way. So I'll be using the map function, in which we are going to be having the another callback function up here, or you can say a fat arrow function, in which we are going to pass an argument that we are having a people in it for every single person up here. So I'm going to provide it an argument that is going to be named as person. Now let me create a const up here. That means we need to get the ID, we need to get the name, we need to get the user's age and the user's image, and that is there inside, that is for our single person. So I'll be passing my argument up here, and now we are going to return. Now we are going to return an article up here, which is going to be having a key. So the React will understand if a single item is deleted the ID that we have provided to that specific list item. So the React will understand that this item is deleted or this item is modified. So the key we are going to provide up here, that is going to be ID. And now we are going to be adding a class name for styling our article, that is going to be person. And now how we need to display it? We need to display the image. And up here we are going to be having a source and the name of the property, that is image. And the alt up here we are going to be having, in which we are going to display the name of the user if the image is not being displayed. And after that we are going to be having a div, in which div we are going to be having an h4 tag for displaying the user's name. And then we are going to be having a paragraph tag to display the user's age. Alright, so now when I save it, it's not going to display me anything because we have not yet called my list component in my app.js, which is rendering in my index.js file. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my app.js file and call my list component after my heading. And now when I save it, as you can see, we are getting an error that is saying the list is not defined because the list is not imported up here. So let me import my list up here. Now let me end it with a semicolon and save it. Now when I save it up here, we can see up here that it cannot read the property undefined of a map in which we are using person. So how can we fix that? So for fixing that, inside this list item, I'm going to select my people, that is my variable name, in which I'm having all of my data. Okay, that equals to, we are going to be having a curly braces and I will be passing my people back here. So the list.js file will understand which is the people. This is our people up here, that's going to be our property, and this is our people, that is going to be our function that we are including in our list.js file. So now when I save it, it should work perfectly. As you can see, when I'm saving it, this is our birthday project that really looks amazing. We are getting the data from our data.js file. Awesome. But now we are going to be adding the clear all functionality. As you can see, when I just click on the clear all button, nothing is happening. So let's add on click function on it. So on this button, when the user clicks on this button, we are going to be having a curly braces, in which we are going to be having a callback function, that means we are going to be having a parenthesis and a arrow function up here, because we are going to be setting our use state hook. Up here we are just going to set our people, because in our people variable we are having all of our data. We can even edit it with our second argument that we have provided in use state hook, that is our set people. I can just select it, and what I'm going to do is, inside my data, of course, the objects are there inside an array. What I'm going to do is, inside this parenthesis, I'm going to pass an empty array. What I'm saying up here, when the user clicks on the button, just set my people variable to an empty array. That's cool. Now when I just click on the clear all button, the data will be disappeared. As you can see, when I just click on it, the data is disappeared. This is how we create a birthday reminder with the help of React. If you like the tutorial video, please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell, because I'm going to create some awesome projects on React this week. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.